We are so thrilled to be partnering with Hinge. Hinge is the dating app designed to be deleted. As you all know, I'm a huge Hinge advocate as I met my partner of almost 3 years on the app. Even before meeting him, Hinge was always my go-to app because I met more relationship-minded people here and had some great dates. Clearly, I haven't been on the app for a little while, but I re-downloaded it to check out some of the new features. One that stood out to me was the voice prompt, my best friend's take on why you should date me, where your friend can hype you up. Not only does this make the profile creation less daunting, but it's not always easy to see your own green flags. So to test it out, I asked Yue some fun prompts to get her take on what I could put if I was dating again. So the first one, how long have we known each other? What was your first impression of me and how has that changed?
Julie and I have known each other for almost 10 years. My first impression of Julie was that she's very social, but I've learned that she has a lot more depth to her beyond the social butterfly that she is.
My next prompt, what do you think are my green flags?
I would say she's deeply loyal. She believes in love, curious mindset, and she is fearlessly ambitious.
And then last but not least, what kind of friend am I?
Julie is the kind of friend who will always have your back, no matter what.
Damn, that feels nice to hear. So download Hinge and try voice prompts today. Then find someone worth deleting the app for. I was so excited to get my shipment from Last Bottle Wines in the mail the other day, full of incredible red wines, all from Napa Valley. I love wine tasting, so having this to my door couldn't be happier. Also, couldn't be more excited that today's episode is brought to you by Last Bottle Wines. If you don't know already, they're a Napa-based online wine shop with a twist. They offer just one handpicked wine per day until it sells out, and they're always at incredible prices. We're talking 30 to 70% off retail. And the best part is that there's no subscriptions, no fees, and no minimum purchase. And I could not be more excited to bring this offer right now because they're having a marathon sale, which is coming up March 28th and 29th. Even better, we're offering Dateable listeners 10% off your first order with code DATEABLE. So if you are a wine lover like me, this is a great time to join. And did I mention that shipping is 100% free? So what are you waiting for? Mark your calendar for March 28th and 29th or get on it earlier if you want. You can sign up at lastbottlewines.com and use code DATEABLE and find out why Last Bottle is the most fun way to discover and buy amazing wine.
The Dateable podcast features real stories from real people of how they make modern dating work or not. Each episode will not only offer you a new perspective on dating, but will also change the way you date. I'm your host, Yue, former dating coach turned dating sociologist. You'll also hear commentary from my producer, Julie Krafchick, and other surprise co-hosts. For all of our San Francisco listeners, come meet the Dateable team, favorite past guests, and other listeners Thursday, May 23rd. We're partnering with 941 Social Club, where you'll get 10 drinks at 10 Polk Street bars for only $15 by using the code DATEABLE. Don't forget, the code is DATEABLE for this exclusive discounted price, and also so we can tell you a meeting spot for the Dateable family. We'll have the event posted on our Facebook page and Instagram, or go to dateablepodcast.com/Polk Street Pub Crawl to get your tickets today. Now, back to the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Dateable, a show all about modern dating. And when we date in this modern world, we need a support system. We need like a BFF, circle of friends, we need coworkers, whatever support we can get to get through the trenches of dating.
Coworkers?
Right? Coworkers could work, right? Coworkers could work. Your local bartender could also work. But today we're focusing on a specific friendship between two wonderful women we met at an event at the Wing. Before we get to their friendship, I've been reflecting on this idea of having a best friend and having someone you can count on all the time. And I feel like being an Aquarius that I am, I've just had so many different kinds of best friends throughout my life. I can't just pinpoint one.
It's me. Just admit it.
It's Julie. Oh my God, everybody.
You don't have to beat around the bush.
It's always been Julie. Even before I met her, she's just been the one for me. She's my soulmate.
I'll let you keep going.
But, you know, growing up as when I was in middle school, I thought you could only have one best friend. And it was like so much pressure. And when I got to my early 20s, it was like, who's going to be your maid of honor? You know, like the ultimate coveted spot. But I find support support in so many different ways, but I think the one person who's always been consistently my best friend is my dog Mojo.
Oh, what a letdown.
It has always been my mother. Always been my mother, hands down. And we have a very special bond where we talk about everything. My mother and I talk about sex. We talk about dating. She's very open-minded. And our dynamic has changed so much throughout the years because she's always been the authoritative figure when I was younger. But I think in recent decade, she's become the student and I've become the teacher. So we've talked about therapy and communication and relationships, how she can communicate better with my father. You know, she's only dated and been with one man her entire life. So she is very curious about my life all the time. She loves going on the apps, just swiping because she's like, and the guys that she would choose for me, I would never ever choose for myself, of course. But it's hilarious. It's always hilarious the way we communicate and the way we bond. So that's been my main support system. What about you, Julie?
Oh, I think I have the group as well. It's changed over the years. Like I've had my one best friend since like freshman year of college that is still one of my best friends today.
Is that Kate?
Yeah.
Hey, Kate.
But I think also like throughout the years, I've definitely gained other best friends. And I agree with you. It's like not one. So there's certain people I turn to in different instances. But of course, if I need everyone's opinion, I'll just hit them all up. And sometimes I'll copy and paste the same message.
Group message.
No, I'll do it individually, but it will be copy and paste. Someone's
it.
like, how are you typing that fast?
Wow, you really make us feel special, Julie.
But, you know, I just want like the different perspectives. So you got to get that with a group, right?
And one of the best ways to get different perspectives is to get a perspective from someone who's not in your same generation. And that brings us to our guests today. Their names are Amanda and Inês. And Amanda's 31 years old. Inês is 70 and they're best friends. And they've shared a lot of dating stories and conundrums and advice with each other, have been a very strong support network for each other. And we want to explore their friendship, but also get into the dating part of how that's played into their friendship. So Amanda is originally from LA, currently lives in Oakland. She's been there for 3 years. She's in a monogamous relationship. And Inês is originally from Brazil. She's huge in Brazil, by the way, okay? Blows up the internet by how big she is.
Right, definitely.
She's been in San Francisco for 23 years and she is single and actively dating, y'all. I feel like Inês wants to dance right now. She's just like constant movement.
This is a good platform for me, isn't it?
It really is a good platform. I wish we were doing video so you can see the two-step she's doing.
We'll save that for later. We'll save that
so
for later.
So they can see me flipping my hair.
But this is a great way to talk about how you two met because it had to do with dancing.
It did. So I actually went to a 4th of July party at a friend's house and I recognized Inês, and Inês is friends with my friend's mother. And I was like, I recognize you from swing dancing. I had seen Inês on the dance floor and I had noticed her because she was really happy when she would dance and she would oftentimes slap her leg and be laughing. So I definitely took note.
That's me.
And so then the next time that I went to this Thursday night dance, I saw Inês and we started to say hi to each other and then our friendship grew out of that.
Yeah, so we became friends out of that, you know. The dancing, I think, was our connection at the beginning. We always meet at the dance floor, talk about the different guys that were coming to come and dance. He's coming for you. No, he's coming for you. No. You know, and then after that, we started having brunch before we would go dancing. And, you know, from that, our relationship grew.
That's a good segue to what were your dating lives like at this point?
Yeah, when you met. And how many years ago was this?
It's 5 years ago.
Okay. So 5 years ago, where were you?
We were both single.
Not dating. Yeah, I mean, dating, but we didn't have a significant other.
Okay, and then how were you dating?
I was dating on the app, so I was probably on Tinder and Bumble. I don't remember the exact one at the time.
I don't go on apps, so I was dating people that I met a guy that I met at a restaurant one time, another time a guy that I met at an airport.
So traditional enough.
So traditional. Because I'm old.
Inês attracts people. People are drawn to Inês because she's very happy and exuberant.
Yes.
You know what, though? We always say that's
magnet.
a problem of modern dating, that we're all in our own worlds with our headphones on, and you're just living life. And
you're just slapping your leg,
Not so
whether
good.
you're happy or itchy. It doesn't matter.
It works.
Just living
works. It works. I think that's, I don't know. I did try apps, but just to see what was all about. One time Amanda helped me. It was not for me.
And you were married for many years.
I was married for 40 years.
Wow. 40 years, yes. And your husband passed. How many years ago?
9 years ago.
Okay.
9 years ago.
And so how many years after he passed did you get back into the dating scene?
It took me, we had the place in San Francisco and a place in LA where my son, my daughter-in-law, and my grandkids live. And after he passed, I spent 1 year more in LA. And then I realized that I was ready to just be on my own. I thought it was time for me to start facing that I now was by myself, and that I'm not supposed to have my son and my daughter-in-law and my grandkids around me all the time. So when I thought it was time, which took about a year, I said, I'm going to go back to San Francisco, guys. My daughter-in-law started crying a little bit, and but I knew that this was going to happen.
Was there like a time between moving here and then when you started actively dating?
Maybe about a month.
Oh.
About a month I was here. It was like, okay, life is different now. I am not a new woman, but I have a new set of goals for my life, and among this set of goals is I'm now going to be available. But it was a year in the month.
And I think over the time that I've known you, you've started dating more and more.
Yes.
So I'd say when I first met you, you weren't as out there as you are now.
I agree.
So you were open, but not like actively doing it as much.
Yeah.
And what about you, Amanda? Obviously, you were not married to someone for 40 plus years when you two
You weren't alive for 40 plus years.
I know. You were barely out of college when you two met.
Yeah.
So what was your dating history like?
My dating history, I had my first love was kind of an international situation. I met him here and then he moved to Vietnam and we had a long distance thing for a while. And then when I moved out here, I was single on the dating apps. Maybe 6 months after I met Inez, I started dating someone more seriously who was another swing dancer. And then I was in a relationship with him for around a year and a half. And then I went back into the dating world.
Can we just talk about the swing dancing for a sec? All right. Apparently this is like the hot spot to meet people. Amanda, you told me the last time we saw each other, you said you met 2 or 3 boyfriends from it.
Yeah, I have dated several people from swing dancing and then had one serious boyfriend from swing dancing. And I think the great thing is that you dance with someone, there's no pressure to dance with them again. It's kind of the norm that you dance with one person, you dance with another person. So it's a very low pressure way to meet a lot of different people. And then the people that you're drawn to and are drawn to you can go back and dance with them more and kind of gradually, as you see them over the weeks at dances, form something more.
True.
Let's talk about this idea of cross-generational learnings. And I guess let's start with Amanda. What are some things that you've learned from Inez throughout the years that you've applied to your own dating life?
The biggest thing that comes to mind is not to settle. I had gone through a breakup, it must have been maybe 4 years ago now, and I was very upset about it. And I went over to Inez's place and, was crying, and Inez was giving me advice and
chocolate.
And champagne.
Very important. That's what friends are for.
And flowers. Necessary, totally necessary.
I mean, Inez really encouraged me to not settle down too quickly and to really enjoy time by myself. And Inez is a great role model of enjoying life by herself. Inez will take herself to the symphony, to the opera. She'll go on vacation. She'll go to that fancy restaurant she wants to go to. She'll dress up just because, not to impress anyone else. And so I had this great role model of I can take time to do things by myself and enjoy being by myself. And that was really important in terms of I didn't feel pressured to go back out and date right away. And I also saw that it can be really fulfilling to be by yourself. So it took away that anxiety of needing to find someone because I wanted to find someone, but I realized that if I didn't, I could be fine.
One of the things that I was always impressed after I lost my husband was that I did not want to wait for somebody to enjoy life. So, I wanted to go to the movies. Why should I find a girlfriend to go to the movies with me? I can listen. I can see the movie that I want to see. So I started steady and slowly doing things by myself. And that's what I told Amanda. I went to the movies by myself. Then suddenly I go to the theater by myself. Then I want to go to the symphony by myself. And then started, I want to go to this fabulous restaurant. Why do I have to wait and check if somebody has the time to go to the restaurant with me? No, I can go by myself.
That's awesome.
So steady and slowly, I started doing things by myself mostly when I came back to San Francisco. And I realized that I kind of enjoyed it.
So that's a really good point because I remember remember the last time we spoke, and then when you two did your talk, you said you were deeply in love with your husband.
I was.
You had an amazing marriage.
I was.
And after your husband passed, you found joy in hanging out with yourself and being by yourself. So for any guy to take time away from that, he would have to be someone pretty stellar. Right? Because that was your way of filtering out the guys who weren't worth your time while you were dating.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sounds like, Amanda, that's something that you've definitely taken.
Yeah, I definitely embraced that as well. So I spent a good, year and a few months dating before I settled down again. Dating and just enjoying life.
What other commonalities did you find having a friend that was in her 70s with your dating lives?
We found that it's just always complicated. You'd like to think that it gets easier with
God,
age, or
so
that you learn, or that the men learn, and we found that not really.
Can we talk about some of those complications?
Yeah, sure. I think one of the things that we can talk about is the DTR talk. Right, Inês?
Define the relationship.
Did you know what a DTR was?
No, Amanda tells me, you need to have that. I was complaining about this guy that I was dating. I said, I thought that by now he would know better because he's older, First she told me it's very complicated. And I go, yeah, I know. Then she goes, you need to have the DTR talk. I go,
what? The DT what?
The DT what? So she explained to me what it was. So I thought it was so funny that you would have to have a DTR talk and, stand. I had no idea about that, because he wanted me to be his girlfriend.
Right.
Just my girl. Are you my girlfriend? He kept asking me all the time. And that kind of really upset me. I did not want to be girlfriend. I just wanted to be girlfriend sometimes.
And that's probably when you dated your husband.
Exactly.
You probably didn't have any of these conversations. It just kind of
this
was
millions
assumed.
of years ago. Are you kidding me? At that time, it was assumed. Exactly.
Right.
So it was interesting that when Amanda explained that to me, I thought it doesn't, but it does make sense because you need to establish, it's almost like establish boundaries, right? A DTR talk.
Establish boundaries and then identify what you want, identify what the other person wants, and then talk about whether it's compatible.
Yeah. It's rule driven, but it is.
It's interesting because I think with modern dating, we've realized that just relationships come in so many shapes and forms.
Yes.
And what I'm learning from you guys is that despite age, it doesn't change. It's still people a variety of needs and variety of ways that they approach relationships.
I think so.
Case in point, ghosting. Let's talk about the ghosting.
We gotta talk about ghosting. So Inês was flirting with this man, and he went away on a fishing trip, and so he was sending Inês texts and selfies with the fish, and of course Inês was sending them to me, and it seemed like things were going well. We were both kind of excited about this prospect.
Like this Mr. Fisherman, like I'm going to be an outdoorsy woman now, and he said, maybe one time we go fishing together, and I thought, fishing's not my thing, but I liked him. I didn't like fish, but I like him.
Open-minded.
Yeah, open-minded, yeah. And I call Amanda, Amanda goes, so how's the fish guy? We call him the fish guy. How's the fish guy? And I go, I don't know. Suddenly he just doesn't text me anymore. He doesn't,
nothing.
Nothing. He's like a disappear. And Amanda goes, oh, I think you've been ghosted.
Uh-oh.
And I go, I mean, what? And she goes, you've been ghosted. And I go, what's that? So she explained to me what ghosting is. I go, I don't believe this. I cannot believe that somebody that's been talking to you suddenly disappeared. That is so rude.
So rude.
So rude.
No one would ever do that.
No, I could not believe it. I said, at least he could tell me, I'm not interested in you anymore. She said, no, that's why it's called ghosting. He's a ghost now. I could not believe it. I had been ghosted.
Yeah.
And then about maybe a month later or something, I call her and I go, remember the guy that I was talking to and everything? I said, he stopped texting me. I think I've been ghosted.
Again.
Oh my God.
Again. And I've been laughing, and she goes, Inês, it's not supposed to be a fun thing. I said,
You're the first one that's been so happy about ghosting.
I know. I go, yeah, but I'm 70 and I've been ghosted. I think that's cool.
You're getting the modern dating experience, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Have we verified that these guys actually did ghost?
I
Oh my God. Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm just asking. Like, have you reached out to them?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, ghosting is going to a whole different level.
The fish one is alive. I know he's alive.
How do you know
I know he's alive because I've seen him.
Oh, you've seen them?
I've seen the motherfucker.
But you got to snub him.
Okay, I'm just going to say, even when you're in your 30s, you always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, maybe something happened.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the 70s, you're like, maybe they passed away.
In the hospital? I don't know.
Then you're like, I saw that motherfucker.
I saw the motherfucker.
Did you say anything to him?
No, I totally ignored him.
Oh.
I ghosted him in person. Walk by.
Boom.
You know, he was like kind of looking at me and I just passed by.
So this is all like the standard, right, Amanda? Like you're like, this is the typical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to see Inez's reaction because it reminded me like, oh wait, like people shouldn't do this to each other. But before that, I had thought of it as pretty normal. I mean, it happened to me. It happened to all my friends.
Yeah.
And so it did give me some perspective.
It's incredibly rude.
Oh, so rude.
Incredibly rude. Oh.
Was there anything else that you like really took away from Inez's experience?
I think it just would be that like behavior really doesn't change. Human nature is human nature, whether you're 20 or 50 or 70 or 90. And so we've experienced a lot of the same dilemmas.
Wow.
And that's just because human nature is pretty constant.
Sure.
And people don't really, from what I've seen, like tend to get more respectful in dating necessarily.
Right.
So interesting. I feel like you always think people are going to grow up, right?
That's exactly what I thought. This guy that I was dating was 64. I thought he should know better. I'm a cradle robber.
Yeah, you are.
The young
She's
boy.
a brick house.
You cradle robber.
Cradle robber me.
So we talked about some of the commonalities of dating between the two generations. What about some of the differences? What have you seen?
I think the biggest one would be the way that we have met people. So, you know, I started online dating when I was in college. So when I was halfway through college, I had gone on one date and it was a walk in a graveyard in the mud. And I was like, okay,
God.
I really
super
hope
romantic.
Exactly.
Is this dating?
So I was like, I really hope that dating is better than this. And so I went home for the summer and I signed up for JDate.
Oh.
And it was very early on in the online dating world. My parents were pretty scared for me, but they let me do it. But since then, like online dating has felt pretty natural. So across time, I've tried most of the sites and apps, and I met my boyfriend on Bumble. I had a really great experience with Bumble. So to me, that felt really natural. And Inez has tried online dating.
What have you tried?
We tried Our Time. We had to do a search for...
Is that an app?
It's an app for seniors.
Oh, wow.
Which I had to Google because I'm like,
Is it like a site too?
First she tries something else and she goes, no, that's not for you.
What did you try first?
I tried Bumble.
She
I was
goes,
hopeful.
Yeah, they could almost be my grandchildren. I
Oh
thought,
my God.
no.
So the
I mean,
70 plus pool is not big
yeah,
in Bumble.
no. So she goes,
PSA.
Not their demographic.
So you tried Our Time. Is that like, is the interface very similar? You swipe through people?
yes.
No.
It wasn't a swiping, but you can look at people and then message them.
people, yeah.
So we made a profile for Inez that had no photos, no identifying information.
Nothing.
Just because I wanted you to be able to see, because I thought that if, you know, Inez could see someone that she thought was attractive, maybe she would be interested in trying it. And I gave her the screen name of Dancing Esmeralda because why not? You know, giving her a cover. And so Inez, you took a few weeks and you looked at people
Yeah, I
online.
looked at people. I did. And I thought, you know, one thing that surprised me a lot, there were a lot of older men, but one of the things that surprised me a lot is that they were all looking for a steady relationship. Some of them marriage. They mentioned even marriage. You know, somebody that I can end my days with and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it scared me to death.
Why is that scary? Well, first of all, that's so opposite of what you find on, and you've like these apps like Bumble and Tinder. Everyone's looking for something casual or maybe a relationship.
No.
So why did that scare you that these men were looking for a relationship?
Because I thought before you decide that you're going to be with somebody for a long time, you better know them first, you know? So I thought me being the woman and them being the guys, that the guys would be more like swinging, you know, and I want to just like dating here, dating there. No. They were all looking for something steady.
Okay.
For a girlfriend, a steady relationship, somebody I can share my life with.
Is that something you were looking for?
You know, no.
Why
I was
is
looking
that?
for somebody to date. I don't know if I want to share my life with. I don't mind dating somebody, but do I want to share my life with them? That's for me to decide later on. Besides, I might be dead by the time I decide that. So, you know what I mean? A lot of them was a lot of commitment. Some even said, if you're not looking for a steady relationship or a serious relationship, don't contact me.
Why do you think that's the case? Do you think they didn't have that? Because I know you were obviously married before, so that probably changes potentially.
I think that is twofold.
Okay.
I think one kind of man might have been divorced and divorced again, because at my age, at this age bracket, you could have been divorced twice. And then I'm still looking for the one that is going to end my days with me. I think that was one thing.
So they still believed in marriage
They
and
still
love
believe in
and
marriage
soulmate.
and love. Yes, and soulmate. In the other widowers, like me, it was like, okay, I'm going to start it all over again now, but this time it's going to be good. I had a very good marriage. Some people don't.
Right.
They have been married 40 years
True.
like I did, but miserable marriage. So now I'm going to get the right one.
So would you be open to someone again, or you kind of close that chapter?
No,
Okay.
I have nothing against guys, but it needs to be the right one.
Right.
And I don't think I need to be looking for them. If they show up, great. If they don't show up, my female friends that say that, I would love to have what you had with your late husband. I never had that, but I did. I know how it is, and it's great, but it takes time to build that. I don't have
40
that.
years.
40
for you.
years. So I don't have that much time, guys. I'm 70. So
Well, people
don't
are
know.
living a lot longer these days.
that's true, yeah.
So you're dating purely for companionship,
I'm dating to have a good time.
to have a
Love
good
it.
time.
Good time.
So I take that was a difference too, because Amanda, I'm assuming you're looking to start a life because you're a different age range.
Yeah, that has been a difference for us, is the time horizon. So when I was last dating, I was looking to settle down. I wanted to get married and have kids. And so I was looking for someone who wanted that too, which, as we know on the apps, not everyone is looking for that. And so
Totally
I found...
different.
Unless you
right?
go on,
Totally different.
what is it
Totally
called?
different.
Our time?
Our time. I did not try our time.
For any
Can't
single,
vouch for
single ladies out
feel
there.
like all the single ladies.
I feel like Amanda would clean up on our time.
So luckily, I didn't have to resort to our time. I found a really great guy on Bumble.
Age appropriate.
Age appropriate, who's also looking to settle down and have a family. So that has definitely been a difference for us. And so I was kind of looking to screen out people who were less serious and more into hookups. And I think, Inês, through meeting people, you've been screening for the nurse versus purse thing. And that was a new
what's
phrase
this?
that you taught me.
Let's talk about, so that's like the third or fourth difference we want to talk about. It's intentions. What are people's intentions with dating? And so we know with modern dating, Amanda, the intentions are not always consistent.
Yep.
Maybe they're having, just want to have a good time. Maybe they're in between relationships. They're in transition. But then for you, Inês, the nurse and the purse. Let's talk about this theory.
The nurse and the purse is like, at my age bracket, there are a lot of guys looking for somebody that is going to take care of them. They have some physical problem or something that is not right with them that is not talked about. They start dating you for like a month, 2 months, and then you find out that this guy has like a huge heart problems or something. And then you become the nurse. They're looking for a nurse. They're looking for somebody to really take care of them.
Caregiver.
Exactly, a caregiver.
And the purse, I take.
And the purse is like, it's always good to find somebody that is financially independent because, my business didn't go so well, and I'm not saying that all of them are like that.
Right.
I'm saying that it happens, and I have seen
Right.
a lot of it. I have seen a lot of friends of mine that got into the situation of being the nurse suddenly or the purse.
Yep.
So I guess that parallels us trying to weed out the players.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like
you
we
go.
don't have to weed out the nurse of the purse at
Yeah,
in our 30s.
nobody wants any nursing done right now, but
Right.
they are
But
players.
Fast
Yeah.
forward, now we know.
Yeah, it's good to know. It's just good to be aware of it. I think at the beginning of your dating, I think you guys, when you're young, when you go on a date, you assess certain things. When you're older and you go on a date, you also assert certain things, different things.
Yeah.
Because of the age difference. Like, I love to dance. I can't go on a date with a guy that has huge problems with his knees.
Right.
Because he's not
got to
going to
be
dance,
mobile.
right?
Interesting. So the same problems don't go away. The same vetting. It's just different things.
Yeah, different issues, but a similar process.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about sex? How's sex different?
Let's take a quick break and talk about sex products. Seriously, have you looked at what condoms are made out of? They're usually made out of stuff that you would not want in your body. It's time for you to discover Lola like I did. It's a female-founded company offering a line of organic cotton tampons, pads, and liners. And they now offer sex products too. Unlike other major brands, Lola's women-focused sex products are formulated to deliver the sensation and reliability you deserve without unnecessary irritating additives. The Lola personal lubricant features a mess-free one-click pump system with a water-based formula made with aloe vera and completely hypoallergenic. It's also gynecologist approved. And you've heard me talk about Lola condoms before because they are that good. They're made out of natural rubber latex and individually tested for contraception and STI protection. And of course, Lola is well known for their organic cotton, BPA-free period products that are delivered right to your door. I'm a huge fan of Lola because I feel like they totally have me covered down there. For Dateable listeners only, you get 40% off all subscriptions. Just visit mylola.com and enter the code DATEABLE when you subscribe. That's DATEABLE.
All right, now back to the show. What about sex? How's sex different?
We did have to have a conversation about safer sex
That's true.
when you started to get more serious with someone.
Yes. Amanda came to my house one
So
day.
Amanda's the one telling you about safer sex. All right, okay. Just
Amanda came to
clarifying.
my house because I've been married for 40 years, right? So Amanda comes to my house and I'm dating this guy that's getting more and more serious. And we're starting to talk. I think, we're going to go to bed and blah, 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 blah. And Amanda comes to my house one day. She has like lube, condoms, and she says, "What do you know about condoms?" And I go, "Oh, all right, okay." And she goes, No. What do you know about condoms? And I go, "Nothing." Nothing.
Have you used condoms before?
No.
Before your husband, were you with anyone
For
else?
40-year girls. When I started dating, it was the 60s. We were free.
Fascinating. So you've never used condoms before now.
Wow.
Never, ever.
Wow.
It was kind of nerve-wracking the first time, honestly, because it was new.
Yeah.
But when you
know.
slept with this man, did he have condoms?
He brought condoms.
He brought
But I
condoms.
had my...
Yeah, and we had to talk about STDs and,
Yes.
talking with him about testing and all of that stuff. I just wanted to make sure that you were safe because I knew that the environment had changed since you were last in this situation.
I have condoms with me.
You're ready.
I'm ready. I'm just like, because after what Amanda told me, I thought, I better be ready.
You gotta try the Lolas.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I tell you one thing that is super cool. Amanda told me that after I dated this guy and we broke up, and I went on a trip, take your condoms with you because it's good for you to have the condoms, but it will also give you confidence. I didn't sleep with anybody when I went on this trip, but it felt good that I was
armored.
I was prepared. yes, I love that. It was cool.
I think an important thing to note is that Inez gets approached by men a
All the
lot.
time.
So what's one thing, Inês, that you would say that baffles you about modern dating, that you were just very surprised about?
Well, ghosting was something that really shocked me.
Anything else that comes to mind like that?
Flipping on your phone for somebody, that's like, at that time there was not even, cell phones.
Right.
So that was another thing that is totally different.
What about all the game playing or trying to read each other's minds and like waiting by your phone, waiting for someone to text you back? Is that pretty common or is that
You
just...
just waited for your telephone to ring, your landline?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's always been the case.
No, not even your telephone to ring. Because when I was a kid in Brazil, I did not have telephone. The first time that a TV was bought in my house, I was 15 years old.
So what would you wait for them to show up on your doorstep?
Well,
you
you send little notes in school to each other.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I take it this like dating around notion was probably not as big. Like, did you?
Not as big, but happened, and because there was no talk between parents and children about sex at that time,
Right.
there were a lot of girls that were pregnant
Oh wow.
without knowing anything about it. There was no conversations about
Right.
There was no sexual education, let's put it this way, in schools or
Yeah,
anywhere.
there's no dateable podcast.
There was
No. Oh, poor them.
So that was like, yeah.
Deprived. Simply deprived.
What else would they listen to? How do they entertain themselves? How do they learn? And Amanda, what about you? What is something that you've learned about Inez and the way she dates that really surprises you?
I think the way that Inez approaches the world is very refreshing and different than most of my peers. So Inez is really open and active to the world. So if we're on the bus together, Inez is making eye contact with people.
What? On the bus?
On the bus.
That's how you get STDs.
Yeah, there are bus drivers that know Inez. Like, you're not on your phone. You don't have earbuds in. You're making eye contact with people. You're making small talk. There's a lot of informal, small connections that I think add up to a bigger sense of happiness and connectedness with other people simply by being present with the world. Yeah. And I think for me, that's been a big example of another way I can choose to live my life, of not really hiding in my own little microsphere with my phone, but really being open to the world and open to connecting with strangers. Because there's a lot of simple joy that comes with connecting with strangers. So Inez will often compliment someone on their shoes, or
you guys were talking to each other and I heard you saying that, and then I start talking to them, and then, we become friends. We have a cup of coffee together,
There's just so much fear with approaching strangers because on one hand, you have to go and make that initiative. Right. On the other hand, the other person has to be receptive. And I think we live in a world where sometimes we may not even be receptive because it comes out of nowhere. You're just not expecting it.
Yeah.
So how do you get over that fear?
I think sometimes when I talk to somebody and I say something, they are just like, well, first of all, sometimes they have to take their ear.
That's what I do all the time.
And then, and then I say something and they are sort of like surprised, but at the same time, it's kind of almost like they like it. You know, how come this person noticed this, is asking me this? It doesn't necessarily need to be a guy. Sometimes another woman or a girl or something, And I think it's like Amanda said, it's kind of refreshing for some people that somebody actually that I do not know reach out and is saying something nice to me, not just complimenting on something, just asking something. I notice I don't have any tattoos, and I would never put a tattoo on myself, but I am fascinated with tattoos and the kids. And I notice that when I see a kid with a tattoo and I reach and I go, oh my God, I love your tattoo. It's called a sleeve, right? Oh my God, how'd you get this? And, and they go, they explain everything to me. And I go, flex your muscle now. And they laugh, So it's like, it's human connection, right?
What's so interesting is I feel like my mom always says this to me. She's like, how do you not know your neighbors? Like, how do you just not talk to people? And I think there is different generations. I think a lot of it's our phone and just lack of it. But it's I think right now our generation's so all or nothing. It's if I talk to someone out, it's I'm trying to hit on them or do something extreme where it's you can just have a conversation and it may not go anywhere. But just that joy can bring a lot, and it just makes you approachable and you don't know where it could go.
Let's hold that thought for a second. We'll get right back to it. This episode is sponsored by Via. We all know there are things that can help set the mood in the bedroom, but did you know a little THC could also do that? Yes, Via has developed a unique blend of pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids, libido-strengthening herbs, and a low dose of THC all into one mind-blowing gummy called High Love. This gummy, wow, it will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, and intensify any sexual experience. I've been pleasantly surprised by the High Love gummies because it is just the right amount of THC for me to have a good time without feeling sleepy. And hey, if THC is not your thing, Via also offers a wide array of other gummies without it. And everything legally ships in 50 states with discreet packaging directly to your door. So if you're over 21, you can get 15% off and a free pack of award-winning Dreams THC plus CBN sleep gummies with our exclusive code DATEABLE at viahemp.com. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Let the gummies work their magic. Head to viahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE to receive 15% off and one free sample of their Sleepy Dream gummies. That's viahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout. Take your passion and pleasure to a whole new level with High Love from Via Hemp. This episode is made possible by Badlands Pets. As you all know, Mojo, my precious baby, is the reason why I found love in the first place. He made me feel love again. So I would do anything to ensure
his health and longevity. And actress Katherine Heigl and I have that in common. She's helped save over 16,000 dogs through her foundation. And after doing a ton of research, she feels there's one place we can look to improve any dog's health, and that's their food. So fortunately, she found that just by adding a few special superfoods to her dog's food, she saw huge transformations in their health. So she's made a 20-minute video explaining step by step how anyone can do the same thing to see incredible changes in their dog's health. I've definitely re-looked at what I'm feeding Mojo and making sure that, hey, he only has one life to live, and I want to make sure it's the best damn life. So if you want to keep your dog healthy and happy, go to badlandsfood.com/dateable and watch Catherine's video right now. Again, that's badlandsfood.com/dateable.
As you know, I recently left my corporate job and I've been in total recovery mode, all about self-care. One of my new routines is the nighttime shower before bed. There's just something about washing away the day and that reflection that's been super helpful for me. I've been using one of our partners, Osea's Mega Moisture Duo. This combo body oil and body lotion are so freaking incredible. It literally feels like I'm at a spa. I realized that the secret is seaweed and other skin level ingredients that are normally reserved for face products. And that's why I was so excited when Osea became one of our partners. And, we're so grateful for partners like this because one, they keep the show going, but they're also super good for all of our listeners and for our own well-being. So if you want to have that nighttime bliss like I am doing, you can get 10% off your first order site-wide with code DATEABLE at oseamalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. So head to oseamalibu.com and use the code DATEABLE for 10% off. Let us know which products you end up going with. Share them in social. Super excited to see what you end up choosing.
Yeah, a little bit of phobia, I think you guys have.
Totally.
A little phobia. Oh my God, now I'm going to have to answer. Now we're going to have to be friends, or she's going to come over to my house, and all of that stuff is unnecessary, I think. It's not going to happen. It really is not going to happen. You can
just have a 5-minute conversation.
All you're asking is, is this water and do you like it?
Yeah.
That's all you're asking.
But at the same time, we crave it online. We crave that online validation, that like and that swipe and that match.
Yes.
But in real life, we're so afraid of that connection.
Yeah.
And I think it feels a lot better in real life than online. It's more satisfying.
Totally. I think so too. It can't be that everybody's so happy like they look on their Instagram. It cannot be.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes, the other day I saw this girl on the bus, she sat beside me. She had tears in her eyes. I mean, she was crying. And I said, there's anything that I can do? Her dog had died.
Oh no. My God.
It was just a simple thing. Her dog had died. She said, my dog died yesterday. And I'm like,
probably made her day.
Yeah. So we talk about her dog. Tell me about your dog. She told me how her dog was and everything, how she got her dog and all that, And I said, I have to tell you something. Don't go and get another dog immediately. Oh. Wait a little bit. Because otherwise you're substituting one dog for the other, and that's not fair.
Yep.
You don't do that with people either. You lose one person that is dear to you, you wait a little bit to substitute. And she goes, oh, wow. She got, I was thinking about getting another one. I said, wait a little bit.
To bring it full circle, I feel like that's the advice that you gave me.
Yes, you gotta wait a little bit. You don't go into one thing and after the other and after the other after the other, I heard some people that date like 5-6 people in 1 week.
I know, it's exhausting.
That's the norm.
I know.
Some do 7 to 10.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't say it's the norm, but there's definitely people out there that...
you guys get confused?
I know.
You need a
Excel spreadsheet.
People do the spreadsheets. That's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I think the part that I always question with that methodology is like, how do you build a connection with anyone when you're like so spread thin and like barely getting to know them? So there's that's my traditional side coming through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are straddling that line, right? We have these like traditional thoughts and then we have these like non-traditional thoughts, and we're just trying to marry those two together to live a life that we feel most comfortable with. And sometimes we don't actually know what we want.
Right.
We just try everything.
Which is a great segue. I'd love to talk about some of our takeaways from this whole conversation.
One, I think we can learn, again, having different perspectives in our lives is so interesting. So Julie and I went to South by Southwest, and there was an amazing talk about diversity and inclusion. The main takeaway I got from that was, if you really want to push for more diversity and inclusion in your work life, look at your personal life and look at your network. Who do you surround yourself with? Who are your friends? Who are you close to? If you are just friends with the same people who have similar interests, who are on board with your political stance, who just say yes to everything you say, then you're not learning. It's the same. You're just friends with yourself. It's this diversifying perspectives and surrounding yourself with people from different generations, from different viewpoints. That's what pushes us forward as humankind. We were so drawn to your friendship because, one, it's the age gap, but it's not really the age gap. It's just bring different perspectives. Inez, to me, you are like, I used to fantasize about writing the screenplay about an alien coming onto Earth. And then taking on...
You got your leading lady.
And taking on...
I am from Mars.
And this alien would take on human form and have to date. And they are just so new at dating because they've never seen anything like it. And they think everything's absurd.
That would be a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
They think everything's absurd.
Like,
they're like, why is this
exciting?
Yeah, like,
right.
And then they, like... If someone ghosted them, they would think there was something genuinely wrong with them and show up at their door and be like, is everything okay? Right.
Yes,
So you embody what I think is like giving this fresh perspective to dating. And then Amanda, I feel like you're like an old soul. Like I feel like you giving Inez advice is just the most beautiful thing ever. Like this whole safe
totally
sex.
I know, it's amazing.
Totally trust her.
Amazing.
If she says something, I be very quiet and listen very carefully.
Oh, yeah. You
she
need to
is
be
an old
schooled.
soul. Yes, absolutely.
But it just shows you that you can get support and perspectives from people you may never expect in your life. And it's just so refreshing to know that you can find support in so many different forms.
I think my biggest takeaway is, like, we always talk about on this show, like, the only person you can control is yourself. Like, shit happens in dating all the time. You get ghosted, someone doesn't want a DTR, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I think the other big thing is, like, you need friends.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And like, those are the people that you go to when you're upset. Those are the people you go to talk through and learn about new things. And I think, like, whatever the age gap, it doesn't even matter. Like, the fact that you can have those conversations with people that have your best interests in heart is really the support you need to get through dating.
That you trust.
Exactly.
That you trust.
That wants you happy.
Somebody.
Yep. That you can vent to and everything. It's like, it's so important.
Very much so.
Do you guys have any other takeaways from just like the whole different generations of dating that you guys have encountered?
One takeaway that I have is that age ultimately isn't as important as we might think it is. So a lot of people presume that Inez and I might not have anything to talk about, or why are we friends? What do we have in common? But we have a whole lot in common, including things to talk about in our dating and relationship lives. So people think it has to be this differentiator, but we really haven't found that to be true.
That's a really good point too, because we've talked to guests too that are very fixated on age, like men wanting younger women. And I think so much of it is energy. And that is like, you have like energy that is probably far exceeding my energy.
Yeah, the alien energy. Where do you come from?
So it really is like, so much of it comes down to the person. I think that's like the end of the day, that age is just a number, and it really comes down to the person, the individual energy.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, because I was in a relationship with someone 12 years older than myself,
true.
and now I'm in a relationship with someone 3 years older than myself, and I do find that my boyfriend and I have more commonality in what we're looking for and where we are in our lives that leads to less friction in our relationship than I had with my boyfriend who was older. So I think in terms of longer term goals, sometimes it can be helpful.
Right.
But in terms of friendships, the fact that we're different ages, I think, helps us.
It helps us.
Gives you different perspective.
That's
my
a
late
really
husband
good point.
was same age as I am. So it was our goals, exactly what Amanda said. Our goals, everything was the same. you know, because we were the same age, same generation, same expectations of life, same everything. When he died, I had to, not that I changed, but I had to look at things in a different way. I had to find new parameters in life. And I think new parameters in life for me were very good because of my personality. Some people do not like to find new parameters, and then they go into themselves. You know, I'm just staying home. I'm not going to go out. I do not want to talk to other people because everybody's so different than I am. For me, it was very interesting. I like that. But I know a lot of people around my age that do not like that. They would not be here with you guys. You know?
No, it's very true. What you just said, like making the most of the situation too, and like living life. No matter your age.
When I was a widow, I was 62. I was not dead, you know. I mean, it's just like, you know, I'm not going to stay home every night watching TV. That's boring.
Right.
You have to change. You have to, new brain, you know, the other side of my brain. Same thing with her. After she let go of this guy, new brain, you know, started dating a new guy, and her life is fab.
My life is fab.
The part that I find most relatable, also most fascinating in this conversation, is we spent so much of our time on this podcast talking about finding the one, finding love, but we never talk about what happens after you found that person and they are gone.
Right.
And I think you've shed some light into this where maybe you found this person already. You don't need to find this person again. You've been through it. And now you're just at a different point of your life where you're just looking for fun, having a good time. And if someone else is on board with that, then you guys would click very well.
Great.
But it's also very similar to some of my divorced friends who said, I had a good enough marriage. It didn't last forever, but you know, we gave it our best. And now I'm not looking for marriage again because I've been through it. I've done it. And for someone like me who've never been married, who's never been in that situation, I still want it. So I wouldn't be suitable for someone like that, right? Because I still want that thing. And maybe once I find it, I don't need it again. Yeah.
Well, it's a good point too that like no matter what stage you have something, like things can change all the time.
Yeah.
True. Someone that met someone right in college and never actually experienced dating, who knows, in their later life for whatever reason may actually be thrown back into the dating pool.
And I also think I mentioned when we did our conversation at the wing, if you had a happy marriage for 40 years and then you start dating again, it would be very unfair to the new person, to the new date, for you to expect to have the same thing that you had with a person that you dated since you were a kid. You know what I mean? It's not fair. You cannot build 40 years of a lifetime into a new relationship after 3 months. Oh, he's not like my late husband. Of course he's not like your late husband. You know, you're dating him for 40 years.
Even people that have been dating for like a couple of years, I think about that, like comparing them because it's like the different, I can't even imagine 40 years.
40 years. I have that very clear in my head that I would never find another Alan Wilson. Anybody else that I would find would be another person. When they become widow or widowers, they do that. Oh, she's not like this. Of course she's not. Of course not.
People do that even when they break up with someone.
Not fair.
You're just finding a new person. And Amanda, have you introduced Inês and your boyfriend?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you've all met.
And Inês has met other people I've dated too, so she really has the perspective on the landscape.
Okay, so first I want to hear
better off. She's better off with this one.
With this one, okay. So that's your opinion of this new boyfriend or newer boyfriend. And Amanda, what does your boyfriend think of Inês?
Oh, he loves seeing Inês. I think the three of us have a great time together. We've been on double dates together.
We double dated.
Which has also been fun. He really respects and values our friendship, so he wants to make sure that I have time to see Inês because he knows how important our friendship is to me.
And that's one of the things that I really like about him. You know, he's not jealous of me. He knows we're good friends. And sometimes Amanda comes over, you know, to spend a Sunday with me. He goes and does his own thing. And
You're not competition.
No, I'm not competition. He knows I love her. He knows I love him. He knows I love them as a couple. I'm not competition. I'm just her BFF. Yeah.
It's a different relationship that you need to nurture also.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think our relationship has been able to fluctuate over time because when we were both single, we were, we spent a lot of time together. We traveled all over the world together.
We texted every night,
Aww.
So, when Amanda was really cute because once she started dating and it started getting more serious, she told me one time, I feel that I'm like not as much with you and I'm not texting you as much. She was like really
I had real sadness about it. I was worried. Yeah.
And I said, I knew this was going to happen. She goes, you did? I said, of course I did. I said, were you going to be texting me at night when you have this fabulous man beside you in bed? Are you kidding me?
Because I wouldn't be texting you.
Hello, girl.
But as long as you don't ditch them completely.
Yes, exactly. It's just like everything else in life. It took a new turn.
It's an evolution of a friendship.
It's an evolution. Yes.
So now it's a good time to go into our rapid fire questions. Normally we have one question of the day and then we have everyone kind of pitch in. But today we're going to do rapid fire where we have 4 scenarios. I'm going to do Amanda first and Inez and Amanda and then Inez. There's 4 questions and you have like 10 to 15 seconds to give your 2 cents of what you think this person should do. Yeah?
Okay. This is a theoretical person.
Yeah.
Well,
there are people that wrote in.
These are based on real situations. Okay. This should be fun. But remember, rapid fire. So for Amanda, my girlfriend is just around the same age as my daughter. I love her very much, but I can't get over the looks and the whispers as we walk down the street. How can I overcome this awkward feeling?
I think this person should ask himself whether he really feels comfortable with the fact that his girlfriend is the same age as the daughter. Because if he really does, I think, embrace the security. But it sounds like some genuine introspection has to come.
Fabulous. Do you feel like you're on like a pageant? That's like the final questions. And now to you, Inez. Okay. This question. I went on several great dates with a guy and then he just totally ghosted. No warning. We even made plans to hang out that weekend and he just never texted me back again. What should I do?
Find another guy.
Move on. Oh, that was like, 2 seconds?
I love it.
Good job. Amanda, my parents have a hard time accepting my boyfriend because he has been divorced twice. I know his intentions are genuine with me and I love him very much, but I also value my parents' opinion and need their approval. How should I go about doing that?
I would be interested in having a conversation with your parents about what are the real concerns. So he's been divorced twice, but are there concerns about commitment? Are there concerns about time horizon? And really see if you can address the specific concerns below that divorced twice label.
Love it. Go beyond the surface.
That was good, Amanda. I love
that was very good.
That was deep.
This is deep.
Very
deep.
Very
She's
deep.
taking the title. So I want to give quick shout outs to why we're here today, what brought us all together. So Amanda and Inez were speaking at the Wing for an organization called Circle, which is all about intergenerational networking. And they put on a lot of events in New York, and that event was their first one in San Francisco. Extremely successful. So glad that we were able to meet there. So I just want to give those 2 organizations a shout out. And for anyone interested, you guys are in the news. Like you're published. Like there's stories written about you 2. And how can people find out more about your friendship?
You can follow us on Instagram at Across Ages, all one word. And then there's articles that we've written about our friendship on Man Repeller and Ageist.
Ooh, awesome.
Not we written, she wrote. She's a great writer.
And you supported her
I
through
am
all of that.
totally supportive of her. Yes.
We also posted on Dateable Podcast and then /videos. You can also just go to dateablepodcast.com. The videos from the Circle event at the Wing. So you can hear Inez and Amanda give their talk there. And you can also hear Yue do her talk at that event.
Yes. And
it was a great evening. It really was.
And this
you want to see them in person. I think the dynamic of in person is
so great.
Fantastic.
And just their outfits in general. You just have to see what they're wearing.
And a lot of leopard going on.
In case you guys are not sure, I'm the one with the white hair.
In case you can't tell.
In case you can't tell.
But this video has been circulating Brazil. And that's why
Yes, I'm famous in Brazil.
you're so big in Brazil
Just
right
because
now.
of this video.
Big in
Yeah.
Brazil.
So get her autograph before it gets to her head.
Too late.
Before she's the star of your Martian movie. That's coming out. She's been practicing. Audition is happening.
I am from Mars and I am on DATEABLE.
Oh my gosh.
Ghosted.
It's like Dancing Esmeralda lands on Earth. I can
And she's
picture it
wearing
now.
green.
I can see it now. It's
Let's
gonna
get
be
that
a great.
screenplay going.
Nobody better don't steal that idea. That's
No, I love that idea.
right. I'm writing this
We
screenplay.
got proof now.
We got proof.
We got audio
Yeah.
proof.
Idea.
Nobody
Audio
tried to
proof.
steal that. Nobody tried to steal that or my main girl from the movie. Okay, so for listeners at home, you've heard all the great ways you can connect with them, with Amanda and Inez, but you can also connect with us as well. We can always make the introductions. You can find us at dateablepodcast.com. And did you know if you go on our website, you can just play the episodes straight from our website. I know some of you are just getting into podcasting and some of you have been podcasting or listening to podcasts for a long time. The easiest way to listen to our podcast is just to go on dateablepodcast.com and you just press the play button. Everything's free and everything's laid out for you.
Yeah.
It's super simple.
Any more age talks? We always love
Ooh,
good
yes.
conversations about age or ageism.
Ageism is a good one too.
yes.
Yes.
Very
oh,
good
I can
one.
talk forever about that. Going from
yeah.
dating as a 30-year-old to dating as a 35-year-old to dating in your late 30s. I mean, just a drop off in what you see as your options. Ageism is a good one, but also age gap. When it comes to
Yeah.
dating, are you dating someone much older or younger than you? We love to hear that story as well, the challenges that you have to overcome. Pretty much any topic related to dating, we want to hear from you and have as a guest on our show. So reach out to us at dateablepodcast.com. We're going to wrap this up. Stay dateable!
Your action item for this week is to look at the people you surround yourself with and think about what you can learn from them. The best way to approach anything in life is to hear diverse perspectives from people who are very different from you. Heck, that's exactly why we started this podcast. We are surrounded by wisdom and knowledge, especially from people of different generations, upbringings, and cultures. Maybe next time you hang out with the people who are very different from you, make it a point to learn something new from them. Want to continue the conversation? First, tag us in any post with hashtag #StayDateable. Then head on over to our website, dateablepodcast.com. There you'll find all the episodes, as well as articles, videos, and our coaching services with vetted industry experts. You can also find our premium Why series, where we dissect, analyze, and offer solutions to some of the most common dating conundrums. To connect with us, find Dateable Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're also downloadable on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast platforms. Your feedback is valuable to us, so don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes. And most importantly, remember to stay dateable.